Right, we're at the stage we're ready to fit our flywheel and clutch back. First little thing we'll do is just to get this metal gasket back on that went round here between the bell housing and the engine. I'll probably just give this surface a quick clean up before we do that, and then yeah, on to figuring out the orientation of this, if there is any sort of orientation. So what I've done there for now is I've just popped the flywheel on just with a couple of the old bolts, literally just to hold it in place, and what I'll do is I'll put all the new bolts in and torque them up to spec, and then we'll pull these two old bolts out that we've just put in, and we'll pop the new ones of those in and torque those up as well. Just wanted to get it in position and just have a look at how everything looked first. I don't know if you can see there, but there's a cutout in the housing of the flywheel, and if you look there, there's a little mark on this lower casing on the side of the engine that we've refitted back on now. I'm taking it that's like an indication of top dead centre, so I'll have a look round and see if I can see any other places that this could possibly line up with, but at this point to me that seems like the obvious place really. Time to get these new bolts in. They already come with like a bit of Loctite on them, some sort of pre-installed Loctite, but I think I'm gonna actually just gonna use some of my own Loctite on there as well. Next step, we're getting these nipped up to 60 Newton meters as per torque spec, so we'll get that done, and then it's quarter of a turn on each from there. We'll actually do it, I'm going to kind of do it in stages still though. I think we're there now. I'm just going to work my way around properly from here. I've marked these sort of in between each hole, and then I've marked the bolts at sort of 12 o'clock, and then what we're going to do is turn each one to 3 o'clock, and we'll start here and we'll go here and just do opposites, but we'll make sure that we'll kind of work them in gradually, but what we need to end up with is basically these each one of these yellow dots should be pointing to 3 PM all the way around, and then we know that we've done all the bolts, so we've tightened them all up. Right, done that now. Took a little bit of doing and messing about. You can see our little marks on the bolts now are all lining up at 3 PM, so I know that I've torqued all these and turned them all through 90 degrees, so I'm happy now that the dual mass flywheel's on as it should be. So the next thing I'm going to do, just give this flywheel plate a little bit of a clean up, to give it a wipe. We'll then get the clutch and the pressure plate aligned up, and we'll stick the aligning tool in the middle, and then we'll get these bolts here on the pressure plate, which I've got new ones of, get them in, get them torqued up to 22 Newton meters just in stages, and yeah, we should be pretty much there. I've never done a clutch before, so you're probably better off looking at other build threads and things for advice on doing it. So from what I can see is that the writing here on the clutch, and obviously the extruded spring parts of the clutch, should face outwards towards the gearbox. You can see that that side's pretty flat in comparison, so that's going to go on that way, and then the actual pressure plate itself will only align one way anyway. You'll see what I mean, it's got dowels on there. So what we'll do is I'm going to get this tool through the pressure plate and through the clutch like this, and we'll get it aligned in place. So give these things a good bit of decent bit of Loctite. Okay, the alignment tool that I've bought didn't seem to work correctly with this clutch setup, so what I've ended up doing is just what a few people suggested, which is just to use a 15mm socket and pop that in there. So I've just got a 15mm socket on an extension bar that I can pull out, and that looked a lot more lined up than it was before. So I've nipped all these little 6 bolts up just so the pressure plate is now touching the flywheel all the way around. I just did that obviously at diagonals, and now what I'm going to do is just gradually go around and torque these up to 20 Newton meters, but I'm going to do it in a few stages. Sorry, I had a few technical difficulties here, so missed some of this fitting the release bearing into the gearbox, but it really is just a case of popping it in there and then nipping the bolts up to 15 Newton meters. I thought I'd just show you this as well. So on the right hand side there you can see the gearbox before when I first removed it from the engine bay, and then on the left hand side that's the gearbox before I've reinstalled it, just giving it a good clean up with some aluminium cleaner, and I'll put a link in the description to the stuff that I use because it really did do a good job.